What are your thoughts on the Abu Ghraib incident?
It was a horrible thing, and especially to see fellow military policemen involved in a situation like that was very sad. I actually had soldiers. At the time that Abu Ghraib happened, I was here. I was a battalion commander, which meant I was a commander of a battalion headquarters, and I had 4 companies under my battalion. Okay, a company is under a battalion. They took, at the beginning of the war, they mobilized all 4 of my companies and sent them to Iraq. This was at the beginning of the war in 2003. But they didn't need my battalion headquarters, so we were here at home. And at the time, 2 of my companies were in Abu Ghraib when that happened. Luckily, they weren't in that part of the prison doing that job, but they easily could have been. They were undermanned by the time they got that mission. They weren't very well supervised, and I think it speaks a lot to sort of if you have a lenient command climate where you're not checking on what your subordinates are doing. Nobody's wandering around if you're on the night shift in whatever that wing of the prison was, and you've never seen a sergeant come through at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're pretty sure that there aren't any sergeants going to come through at 3 o'clock in the morning. So you're more likely to do things that you're not supposed to do because you're probably not going to get caught. And I think that was true all the way up the chain of command, that the leaders weren't checking on their people, weren't making sure they were doing the jobs the way they should have been doing the jobs. The way that prison ran was the leadership of the unit wasn't involved in the jobs that their soldiers were doing. So we had like platoon leaders who had, say, 25 soldiers that fell under them. The soldiers were assigned to different shifts at the prison, and they weren't necessarily working for their lieutenant when they were on the job doing their shift work. So they might be guarding prisoners or doing whatever, and their lieutenants weren't allowed to even go in and check on them. And I think with that breakdown in the chain of command was one of the big things that set that up to happen. And it was, I think, a very dark day in the history of the military police corps, and certainly in the United States Army and of the United States itself. It's, we like to think that we're better than that. We like to think that we don't let things like that happen, but it's human nature, and, the military has systems, and as do even civilian companies and stuff, or if you're running a prison in America or any other place, and if you let those systems break down, then bad things can happen, and they sure did there.